SANDBOX has gotten the better of this draft here for game number 2. So let's hop onto the Rift and see if Jin Air can pull off the upset, or is SANDBOX going away with the 2-0. Alrighty, jumping back on here for SANDBOX versus Jin Air. OnFleek going to return to his Lee Sin and look to have a bit of fun on that pick.
Kellin coming in here, getting vision early on. And the Jarvan, again, he has to make something happen early on. I'm unsure if Malrang's going to try some super cheesy play, like red-blue into a gank. And the other problem is that if OnFleek starts on the red side, Lee Sin just has more routes available that play better into his teammates. Looks like Dove is actually going to go top with the Corki. Yeah.
Here we go with the swaps again. Jin Air is going to find out about it right now as they see Summit returning to the mid lane.
And Summit here against the Karma. Well, CheonGo actually does have teleport, also has Comet, so going for pressure inside of this lane. As Corki versus Renekton, it's not a matchup that you get to see that often. And it is fleet footwork on the Corki. J4 is starting red into golems, perhaps recognizing that attempting to gank top lane is just not realistic. Malrang, question mark ping goes down on the blue buff, but they have vision on it. And now you can see the question mark pings going down onto OnFleek, alerting his teammates exactly where the Lee Sin can be at this point in the path.
You saw the Kellin pick up the Morgana here at the end of the draft phase. Going to be pretty useful up against that Rakan, specifically down in the bottom lane. So we all saw how much damage Root did on the Ezreal in game number 1. Perhaps he can get something going with that Morgana help for this lane.
It's going to be a little interesting here as Malrang is going for a wraparound on the blue. He's going to end up stealing it away, and they're going to trade buffs now, but this is going to favor SANDBOX because of the lane state of top, as well as the lane state of mid and bottom. It's much more favorable for OnFleek on the Lee Sin right now.
Take a look at the pings. They know exactly where he is, so a good read this time around by Malrang to have a good idea that OnFleek, he's not at Wolves, he's not at the right side, he must have gone to my blue.
OnFleek ends up picking up the Scuttle Crab, but now he's moving over to the Gromp. Looks like he will start the Gromp. Now, this is where junglers have options at this point. You can do the Wolves and leave a Bambi behind. You can leave the one small one, and then you can elect not to do the Gromp and leave it level 1 so that it doesn't rubber band for the enemy jungler. You can see all the question mark pings coming down right now by most likely Malrang, alerting his teammates of where exactly Lee Sin can be. And you can see that Wolf Camp for OnFleek. Let's see if he clears the whole camp. He does, so this is going to be good for Jarvan. So at the end of the day, Jin Air not in the worst of spots.
Yeah, the rubber banding will come through. As you always like to mention, Malrang will be able to pick up that higher level camp, feel good about it, whereas OnFleek will not. Pretty good trade down here on the bottom side by Root and Kellin. See Kellin even getting in there for a couple more autos. Really wants to get the maximum value out of this trade.
And you can see that Jarvan, he's pathing bottom lane right now. And the unfortunate thing is that Ghost has teleport, and the lane state, it's just not favorable right now for Jarvan to gank at this point. And so Lee Sin and him are just going to be handshaking endlessly, it seems, on full clearing. And we talked about this earlier on. SANDBOX, the obligation isn't on them to get ahead. They're not the ones that need advantages going in to the mid game or transitioning out of the early game. And with an open dragon being the first one that spawned, Jin Air are not finding themselves with the best advantage.
Yeah. It's not quite game 1 where SANDBOX from ahead roll all the Infernals in the game definitely Jin Air a little bit hard on their luck so far tonight. At least they do have the Ezreal in the bottom lane doing a little bit better this time around. Ghost has the TP, was wondering if he was going to use it there. Eventually does pack up and teleport to the cannon minion.
Ghost coming back in, but you can see that Jarvan, he's on the left-hand side of the map. Lee Sin's going to be the one transitioning down towards the right. We see question mark pings coming down onto the dragon, but overall this is a very, very safe early game.
Okay, OnFleek not wasting any time here, wants to take that trade, but a good dodge actually on the binding. As Kellin going for the roam is able to deny any 2-on-2s, but it does save Malrang from any flash.
Now Malrang's going to recall, he's going to path through this left-hand side jungle, and that's where the rubber band camps are going to end up spawning, as well as the Scuttle Crab. It actually looks like he wants to go to red first. So, the thing about going to red first is the wave is coming into your bottom lane, but there's a trade.
Look at this, the Ignite does come out. They are able to get that fantastic summoner away from Kellin. That all started because Kellin was going for one of those harassment bindings almost and hit a minion, and Lee Sin was nearby. So, a good read there.
So what SANDBOX just attempted to do was a really greedy gank. They try to use the advantage that the wave is crashing for the unlikeliness that their jungler is going to be there in order to try to create a gank. Now, there's an alternate universe that exists right now where if Malrang circumvented going to his red, path to the left-hand side, well, we got a trade.
Yep, Summit trying to go in on this one.
Yeah.
CheonGo is going to go for the flash and just not mess around with that level 7 Irelia.
Malrang could have gone to the Scuttle Crab, saw OnFleek fail the gank in bottom, counter jungle his red, and then there's no intel telling SANDBOX what is going on, and then he would find himself up 4 camps in that exchange. But instead, Jin Air are going to turn their sights right now to an open dragon.
Yeah, they got 4 members on this route, a little bit low on mana, but Ghost taking the long way around.
Whoa.
We got a TP on this. They really don't want to let this one go, but Malrang is going to get the buffered flag and drag to get out of there, plus the smart smite on the backside. So actually a nice little trade there going towards Jin Air.
Yeah, Jin Air, they pick up the Ocean Dragon, and they get out with it. They also manage to steal away a teleport from SANDBOX. But it looks like Corki's going to be handed the blue. I wonder if this means that Summit is going to bounce to the top lane after this wave, or if Corki's just going to run there. Does he have a package? Yeah, he does. He's mounting right now.
Yep. There we go. Going up to the top side with his big package.
It's very big.
Yes, it's quite sizable.
Did you ever play Final Fantasy 3 or 6?
No. Nor 6.
Corki reminds me of Setzer.
Setzer? Oh, yeah.
People in chat, they'll know Setzer.
I've played a Final Fantasy phone game, actually. Another caster out here.
Is Setzer in there?
Yeah, Setzer's in there.
Okay. Corki is Setzer.
Okay.
All right.
Makes sense. OnFleek was a little bit too early with the smite there, you can see. Malrang was just like, okay, I'll take this one down.
It was a really interesting commitment. It's only an Ocean Dragon. So seeing SANDBOX so keen on teleporting down there and potentially actually looking for a fight was very surprising. And now, coming back into the live game, it's only a 300 gold advantage right now for Jin Air, which is not what they want to have right now. It should also be noted that Jarvan is going to be going for the Cinder Hulk. No Warrior Enchant or anything along those lines. As SANDBOX, yeah, they're just farming it out right now, Valdez.
Yeah. As you mentioned, I mean, that's all they really have to do. That's why that teleport for the Ocean Drake was really kind of mind-boggling in a way. If they can get this stun onto CheonGo, he's dead. Let's see if they can actually make it happen, as CheonGo reading the aggression here, the pressure pretty well. As Malrang, maybe he avoided that.
Ooh, well, the question mark things.
No, they know, okay. As he goes in there towards that Rift Herald, but we do have the Renekton coming down.
Well, now they know. Oh, man.
Oh, boy. CheonGo could be sniped out here, but now on vision, he's able to dodge that one.
That's actually really big, the mantra.
That one ward actually is going to keep SANDBOX from really getting on top of them. And Jin Air now at 10 minutes and 40 seconds able to take out the Rift Herald.
They pick up the Rift Herald, and like you just said, there's 3 minutes remaining on the plates. So this can easily be converted into something worthwhile. We'll see if they end up doing it. The problem is that Summit has his teleport available soon, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to get the mid lane state in a position to do so, but perhaps the Corki could be moved.
You got to hand it to Jin Air to actually getting a good early game going here this time around. The question is it enough? You know, as you mentioned, they would love to snowball this Rift Herald into a lot more money on the plates here and get one of their lanes ahead.
Right.
And really try to get that, 4,000, 5,000 gold lead you were talking about pre-20 to have a pretty good chance of winning this game.
And OnFleek coming down here right now. Malrang looking to match it. It's quite an unusual game of ping pong unfolding. Corki, you can see his mana pool is about half right now. A little bit under.
Malrang out of vision. Just going to pull that one into the brush. OnFleek not going to steal that one away, but spotted along the way. Teleport now down into the bottom side. Malrang with that Rift Herald would love to get something going. Nice try on the read by Kellin. That was really close. Got to hand it to him there. But again, Malrang, he's on a timer here with the Rift Herald. He's got to use it. It looks like he may just be doing that down in the bottom lane. There it is, as Summit also forced the flash.
So he's going to use the Rift Herald down in bottom. They will be able to get some of the plates. As CheonGo and TaNa, they're making their way down. It's all going to go on to Root.
That's big.
Yep.
320 extra gold.
Well, that's another one. So 400 gold onto Root, 80 gold onto Kellin. Definitely a successful Rift Herald.
Yeah, Dove, you remember, he had to teleport to the Ocean Drake. He didn't have a teleport for that last play, so there wasn't really a big response that SANDBOX could have gone for. We have Ghost now teleporting down to the bottom side, but another Ocean Drake should be going the way of Jin Air.
This will be the second open dragon that they will have been able to capture. Fantastic. They're rewarded now with a mountain dragon, if they can manage to pick it up before the next Baron. But I see a world where things go catastrophically.
Yeah.
Valdez.
Why do you say that?
Well, around the 19-minute mark.
Again, don't read off the script, please.
Completely demolishes Jin Air in the team fight. Gets the mountain drake. And then they'll convert into Baron.
What time was that again?
Nothing.
Around
Don't worry about
around 17 minutes. That'll be pretty good timing for that fight, but we'll see if it does happen. And a bunch of plates. It looks like maybe one in the top side went to the side of Dove, but outside of that, I don't know if any other plates went the direction of anybody else on the Rift.
Gold score is even, despite everything that has unfolded. And Joker taking a little bit of damage right there.
You can see actually even one plate down on the bottom side. That did go the way of the SANDBOX bottom lane, so they were also able to pick up a bit of gold, and you can see the discrepancy is not that high just from plates in this early game. And because the CS lead in the mid lane and even a little bit in the top lane is favored towards SANDBOX, they will actually be the team in the lead.
Yeah, and SANDBOX are feeling really comfortable. We talked about in the pick ban that the Jin Air team composition needs to be several thousand gold ahead around the 20-minute mark just to be considered slightly ahead or relatively okay in terms of a game state. But The fact that they're slightly behind on gold is really not good. They should be able to pick this up, though.
Yeah, Ghost and Joker, not sure why you're this deep in the enemy bot lane, as First Blood is going to be given over to Root. Definitely a nice amount of extra gold handed over to Jin Air.
And without Ghost having his teleport available, they could get quite a bit of chip damage onto this turret. Lee Sin is nearby. Summit seemed a little bit indecisive with what he wanted to do with the damage. Root could just raise the turret.
Yeah, just attack the turret, buddy. Looks like they're not 100% sure who else is there, but they have the death timer. They know that Joker had to go back.
They know that
they
Ghost was dead, and then on top of that, TaNa's proximity to Dove, there's no way for him to get away and teleport in, even if there is some sort of a flank ward. So that was definitely extremely overly cautious play.
Yeah.
And that's why the plane can't get off the runway.
Yeah, sometimes they're a bit too aggressive. You know, they try to just jerk the joystick straight up into the sky. Sometimes they say, okay, we're going to be on the runway for 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes too long. They do eventually get that bottom lane turret, though. It took an extra push and a bunch of extra time, but eventually they finally did get there.
Well, Valdez, I want to bring you back to the point earlier about Jin Air and the Mountain Dragon.
Yeah.
Coming up. It's in a minute and a half. Dove and Joker, they're not actually able to get this turret. And let's see how heavy of a commitment SANDBOX is willing to make for it. As it looks like CheonGo is going to go up to the top lane. And Summit, I mean, right now, SANDBOX is out-pressuring Jin Air at every step. And Summit backing off again a little bit prematurely, but doesn't quite matter.
That's a bunch of missed XP and even gold down on the bottom side. Maybe an Ezreal from patches past could have cleared out the back line of minions, but instead just weakened it to one shot by the turrets. TaNa was taking a long time to get down here and defend.
And Joker and OnFleek just clearing out vision around the Mountain Dragon. Malrang, he looks keen on just doing the Golem camp and then hovering around down here. CheonGo, he has his teleport available. He's been sitting on those items for quite a long time. We'll see if he ends up completing perhaps before the team fight, but Dove looks like he's moving down river. Maybe he doesn't want to teleport to this fight. He just wants to come here and then teleport back up top. Does seem to be what he will do. How much damage can Root dish out? Oh, that's actually a lot.
He had to use the package too, as Dove gets red buff burned on his way back. He is going to have to go back home. And this team fight will begin in favor of the Jin Air Greenwings. They're also pushing the mid lane at the same time.
Teleport, though, on Corki. Very cautious teleport. Oh, the binding landed.
Nice dodge, at least, on the
Here it is.
view there.
I told you about this, Valdez.
The Mountain Drake, it's happening. Can they avoid it? Okay, Joker gonna use a bunch of stuff. He only gets it, and there's the steal from the Xayah! Of all people, it's gonna go the direction of SANDBOX. In goes Summit, not sure why he's going in all alone. Got a little bit too excited watching too much KT. But either way, that is gonna be the Mountain Drake over to the side of SANDBOX.
Yeah, and picking up the Mountain Dragon is super big. Jin Air, they look at the next dragon coming up, and you know what it is, Valdez. It's another open dragon. So that one is not going to be the best case scenario, especially because their team composition wants to move forward into the opposition very quickly. Even though there is some poke aspects, triple Ocean Dragon, I don't know how to feel about it. Let's take another look at the fight. Corki coming in from the north. Joker botching his engage, actually, pretty heavily considering so many members were inside of the Dragon Pit. OnFleek and Malrang both managing to whiff on the Dragon, so it was picked up by Ghost, and then Summit. You wanted to see what was on, you know, if the grass was really greener. On the other side, that's what happened.
It was, right? He was in the river and went over to the grassy area of Summoner's Rift, so he found out exactly what was waiting for him.
Did you see the new Nintendo Switch was announced?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's quite nice. I'm gonna get one.
You think you're gonna get one?
I am gonna get one.
Didn't you have the regular Switch before?
No, I actually did. I never bought it.
Oh,
because I said to myself, I'm not gonna buy this just to get Smash Brothers. But I will buy the Lite for Pokemon.
What about like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey?
Nope.
And Breath of the Wild 2 that's coming out eventually.
League of Legends.
You need TFT, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Summit taking a bunch of damage already. He's stuck in the pit. He does not have his flash. Still does a ton of damage and gets out alive. Oh. But OnFleek is going to go down there. And actually, Jin Air will win the fight. As for some reason, OnFleek got caught by himself. As everybody else was zoned out there by the side of Jin Air.
And also, they don't have Dove through all of this. He's busy down in bottom lane, raising turrets. And that's going to be a tier 2 turret going over to Dove. As he's continuing to clear out this week. He's going to hit level 14. So he has a level lead over CheonGo and TaNa. Not quite sure where they're standing. And he's also going to counter jungle potentially the Krugs of Malrang. And this is very good for his team. So let's take another look at this. Summit checking the brush with the Aurelia stun, gets locked up. Joker, he wasn't having any of that, and you can see what happens right there on OnFleek. His Dragon Kick actually got canceled by the Morgana Black Shield. And so even though Ghost comes in, there's nothing to realistically be done inside of that fight.
Kind of an awkward one there because Summit was just in the Cataclysm for so long. As here comes OnFleek. The Krugs got counter-jungled. OnFleek's counter-jungling. The Gromp here for Agatha is going to be kicked in the back before she does go down. See, total damage not super high on the side of SANDBOX. For some reason, I guess TaNa going up against Corki is the reason why he still doesn't even have 500 damage yet. But Ezreal, once again, popping off as he does.
And Mountain Dragon isn't quite on the agenda yet for SANDBOX. And again, look at them. They're just completing all of their second core items. Lee Sin, relatively close to getting that Black Cleaver. He just picked up Phage and the Kindle Gem. And they're sitting pretty right now. If you're SANDBOX and you're like, okay, well, we're scaling towards our third core items, and then you look at the opposing team, you're not really feeling all that threatened. And with another Open Dragon coming up in 50 seconds, you don't even necessarily need to get it. You can just keep scaling if you want to. But realistically, they could just use it as a way to entice Jin Air into taking a team fight that would result in Jin Air losing.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see how the fight does start off. I feel like Root is a big-time carry for the side of Jin Air. We have kind of crossed that point of no return, as you did mention, but this guy is on 3 items, 2, 0, and 1 with the red buff. So if he can pull off some crazy Ezreal shenanigans, especially before the fight begins, you definitely cannot count him out just yet.
They're trying to clear out the mid wave right now as Dove, he's coming with the package. How many bars of soap do you think's in that package?
Well, you can obviously see there's 4.
There's
4 big ones right there in the front.
It was free too.
Yeah,
that's
it's coming
like when
quick too. It's just like Korea.
That's like
same
when you
day
go to
delivery.
the market and you spend enough money and then you get a free gift. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, 2
like
plus 1. Oh, you mean the gift?
Yeah, the gift.
Not the 2 plus 1. It's like, oh, here, have a free,
Yeah, 4 bars of soap.
20-cent juice.
And then you start wondering if the cashier's calling you dirty.
Oh yeah.
It's
like don't forget your soap.
Right. Why? Why do I get the soap? Why not the ramen noodles? Feels quite bad.
Or why not both? I mean.
Yeah, why not both? This doesn't make any sense.
Every gamer definitely requires both of those things.
Yeah.
The ramen, while you're watching the TFT stream, and then you use the bar of soap, hopefully. Not ironically. Here's Malrang in the brush, or in the pit, I should say, all alone. Has to flash as he flag and dragged over for that one.
Oh, quite a bit of damage there by Root. Let's take a look at this amazing double Mountain Drake. Fantastic. or Double Ocean, as Double Mountain is coming up.
Double Ocean Man here for the side of Jin Air. And, I mean, Root is not going to run out of mana, so he's got that going for him. Here's the flank, though, to flash in with the old Summit. Able to get one stun down. Joker going to charm a bunch, but where's the damage? They're not even able to kill TaNa here. Finally able to get into the back line is SANDBOX, but it is only that one Renekton. Bunch of damage,
Root!
And there it is, Root! Somehow alone is able to get the 2 after the binding from the side of Kellin as Jin Air strike back hard.
And now they're going to be able to raise the mid-tier 1 turret. Unfortunately, they don't have that Mountain Dragon. If they did, they could go to Baron with the Double Ocean. And they might have been able to pick it up, but instead here, they're pushing on for mid-tier 2. They end up chipping about 45% of it.
I can feel this flight is about to take off.
I could.
The engines are running. We got that wing seat too.
You know when you get to the runway?
Rumbling. Yeah.
Have you ever been pulled back from the runway?
No, actually. I've been lucky enough to not.
You've never had that?
Have you?
Yeah, actually one. That was a field.
I've had a retake off in the air, and that was scary.
This was a fantastic Aurelia ultimate to engage this fight. Joker also doing quite a good job. TaNa running away. Now, one of the things the Jin Air team composition does do well also is run away with all of the mobility. That True Shot Barrage, it was okay.
It started with the binding, though. It was from the side from Kellin, and it was the 1-2 punch from the bottom lane of Jin Air that once again are really the only thing saving Jin Air in a lot of these games where they do pretty well.
Guardian Angel completed now for the Ezreal, so he's going to be the one final boss for SANDBOX to take down. Third core items, though, it's almost completed for SANDBOX. And a minute and a half until the next Mountain Dragon. They should just be content to keep scaling. As Root, he's going to have to pull a miracle out of the hat in order to keep everything alive here.
I like how you call him the final boss, because that's really what it is going to be as the game goes along.
With
you
Jin
know.
Air. Teddy.
And in this position, too, because a lot of their other stuff are kind of going to fall off with their comp, and SANDBOX is only going to get stronger.
What do you think it is that makes Jin Air ADCs so special?
Maybe ADCs in general, when you're just on a team that is... You just have this urgency of, I really have to carry. So they start picking stuff like Ezreal, they get really good at it. They start picking stuff like late game carries like Sivir, become a fountain laser like Teddy, and they just become so proficient at this stuff that can kind of 1v9 that eventually they're just like, okay, I'm a god at this champion. Maybe I can actually 1v9 this time.
Yeah, and well, in this game he is going to try to have to 1v9.
But he missed the cannon.
He missed the, that's it. Well, engine failure.
We barely got off the runway.
Yeah, well, now we never will.
What's going on?
You ready?
I'm never coming back to this airport.
Are you ready for the throw at the Mountain Dragon?
This is the real airplane over here. He was actually on SANDBOX the whole time.
Dove's about to ask Jin Air if they want to see how a plane really gets off the ground.
It's like the difference between T-Way and Korean Air.
What?
T-Way is like a budget airline out here.
All right.
Yeah, Korean Air is one of the best.
Well, here it comes. This is it. This is a decisive fight. How do you feel?
I'm feeling pumped. I think it's going to go pretty well. Not going to take any sides here, as I am definitely not going to count Root out just yet.
The level advantage for SANDBOX is actually quite big. They have one level in top and mid lane.
All right, here's Joker on the left side, but he is going to be spotted.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, that's some good vision there from Joker. Trying to post this down, but the Dragon is going to release now and goes on Fleek. He's able to steal it away. The kick and the safeguard over the wall.
Look at Corky's damage.
Yeah, Dove now is just going to push them away. Root took way too much damage on the front line. Here comes the crits, too, out of Dove. And all that Jin Air can do is kite away, but now that's 2 Mountain Drakes to the side of SANDBOX.
2 Mountain Dragons and an Ocean Dragon. With an Elder coming up next. It's going to be really hard for Jin Air to find a way out of this. Ezreal taking a lot of damage right there, too.
Yeah. See, that Root is trying his heart out. I feel bad for this guy. But he really is the only hope right now, the last hope here for Jin Air.
Well, Root is probably feeling a lot of pressure in this game at 31 minutes. He's healing all the way back up. Probably doesn't have the ability to recall if the other SANDBOX members end up getting onto the map. At least not until his teleport is available. Lots of control wards now purchased by SANDBOX as well, so Baron is on the horizon. We'll take another look at this. And you can just see that Jin Air was not on the same page. Dragon Kick on Malrang to knock him back towards the rest of the teammates, but no fight ended up transpiring.
Yeah, so just another big objective to the side of SANDBOX's big late game comp. It does get better than this. I mean, we saw game number 1, right? But certainly SANDBOX are in a very comfortable situation in this game. Don't only look at the kill score. It doesn't tell the whole story.
Even gold. 5-2 is the score. 52,000 is the gold.
Ooh. Yeah, okay, here's Root once again. He's trying his hardest, man. He's using that arcane shift forward. He doesn't give a damn. He just wants to do as much damage as possible. But Dove now is able to match in terms of the poke, and this is where it's going to get pretty hard. There wasn't that much poke on the side of SANDBOX, and they weren't able to endure.
Oh, that's a lot of damage onto Dove.
Yeah, Dove took a big chunk from the Karma.
Doesn't have any way of life-stealing that back up, so that's going to be a recall and more bought time. But here's the issue for Jin Air, is Elder and Baron are both really, really good against them, and they're going to be forked in a bit here when that one ends up coming up. I always got to slow down, Valdez, when I say that word.
Yeah.
I always gotta be real careful.
Yeah.
2 minutes on the Elder, and I don't know what Jin Air is actually going to do. Because even if they get the Baron, the Elder Dragon is just so strong, it enables SANDBOX to do so much more. And if they get the Elder, and SANDBOX gets the Baron, it doesn't necessarily mean that they even win the fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of setting up here for Vision, as it always is, and Root trying to stop them from doing that. Take a look at the damage here in this game. It really is the battle of the pokers. The Ezreal up against the Corki coming in here, but SANDBOX in major control of this region right now. They're going to start it here, but Vision will be granted to the side of Jin Air. They're coming on in. It's already below half health. How are they going to get into this
needs
pit?
to be a hero.
Oh, they're going to stop the DPS.
Wow.
Okay, SANDBOX not messing around. And a huge amount of poke damage comes out of Root. He's given the black shield, and there he goes into the front line. He's really not scared, especially when he has that shield, and he's able to stop them from taking that Baron down.
SANDBOX are all recalling right now. This means that Jin Air...
Oh, boy. They found someone here in the jungle. Summit getting pretty low, but the Root here onto Malrang is going to stop him from keeping on going on in.
The Root onto Malrang.
Yeah.
Very excellent. Excellent choice of words there, Valdez.
We're getting a big zoom out. We have 3 teleports on the side of SANDBOX. Nobody, okay. Aurelia's going back now. Summit's thinking about it, but Jin Air, they know about this.
The really rough spot about this, though, is Kellin doesn't have his ultimate available, and Jin Air are sitting on quite a lot of gold, whereas some of the SANDBOX members coming fresh off of a recall. And now Elder's up, so let the forking begin. Ooh. Oh, that was really close.
Stun comes down. Oh, Dove.
He has teleport, though.
Yeah, he has teleport. Here comes Root, though. Can anyone stop this madman? as the Ezreal's just running at them right now. And he's got the slow, too, from the side of his teammates. The spooky ghosts come out. And all that SANDBOX can do is run away.
Yeah, this is honestly really surprising. Malrang doesn't want to use his smite on the Gromp. Oh, man. Oh, they better check for him.
Yeah, okay.
Look at how absolutely plane-head he is right now. Size of a plane. That is like, what is it called? What's the front of the plane called? Not the cockpit, but...
The nose?
Is it the nose?
I'm pretty sure it's the nose.
Whatever it is, it's that head right now. Okay.
Nose head? Okay. See where you're going with this. Elder Drake has spawned. Rude once again doing his best. Just going to frontline here. Dove with the package, trying to deny him. That was going to go through the posts as it does sail wide. Elder Drake getting low. Here's the flank from the side. The kick comes in and the stun, and there's the Elder Drake from the side. The double knockup by Joker. They're going to get that damage down, and now it's Ghost who's frontlining. And now that Root doesn't have any tank line here, he just has to run away. Oh, as okay, OnFleek getting a little bit cheeky there, but he draws out that Arcane Shift. As Root does a bunch of damage here, but he's all alone. As it always has been on the side of Jin Air. Poor Root.
They take Root, they take the Guardian Angel.
Okay, he's trying to do damage, but
that's
1-on-2, that's not enough.
That's going to be Jin Air Heart going down right at the very end. So, SANDBOX, they win the game.
That they do. Really nice flank there. Good positioning from the side of SANDBOX. Once again, a fantastic kick from OnFleek. And once they were just able to out-position and out-team fight Jin Air, SANDBOX are able to deny that Ezreal and get this game going. As once again, the kick is going to come down here on a CheonGo. Just trying to zone him out as they take down this Nexus. In goes TaNa, trying to do his best to get on in there, but he will not die one more time. And SANDBOX are going to be able to pick up the 2-0 victory tonight.
And that's what they needed, because the next series of the night, between Kingzone and Dom1,